I'm making these videos to help you change different aspects of your life. This video has been made to help you overcome irrational fears, phobias, that sort of thing. So firstly, I'm going to explain how I came about the idea of being able to do this for you really quickly. Hopefully you'll see and understand it, and we'll get that changed for you. So if you've got an irrational fear or a phobia, whether you've had it for a week, whether you've had it for 50 years, hopefully by following the instruction on this video, you will be free of it later on. If that happens, all I ask of you is that you share this with any of your friends that you think it might help. So the explanation, and this is whether it's true or not, it is said that we're only born with two fears. There are two fears that are hardwired. That's the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. And that's why when a baby's born, the midwife can do this with the baby, and it does this, the cling-on response. And if they lay the baby on the bed and they clap their hands, the baby will do a startle response. And if the baby does those two things, it's a way of checking that their brain's working properly and they're functioning properly. So those two things we're hardwired with. Every other fear that we have is learned. And like with everything else we learn, it starts with our imagination. Let's say as a child, we wouldn't be automatically afraid of wasps or spiders or snakes. In fact, if you were a tiny baby on the floor and there was a snake in a room or a spider in a room, the chances are that baby would crawl over and try and play with it because it has no fear of them. But what happens is this. As adults, we know that certain things can hurt us. There are certain snakes that can hurt us, certain spiders that can hurt us. So if we see a spider or a snake near our child, we're going to go into a panic. And the child sees this. And as they grow older, their imagination starts to work. So to start off with, they have no fear of a certain thing, certain object. They see an adult putting a fear upon it, and they imagine that it must be dangerous, it must be scary. So it starts, if you like, at this point with them just imagining something scary happening. As with all imaginations, if we do it long enough, it then becomes automatic. They see the snake and they feel anxious. But at this point in time, they're still using their imagination. That imagination works automatically. But after a period of time of doing that, they forget the initial imagination they had. And now, as with everything that whether we're watching TV or a film where it's a scary movie or an emotional movie where it can make us scared or it can make us cry, once our imagination runs to that point where we forget we're only watching a film, then it appears to be real. And that's how it appears in real life. When we forget that we're only imagining something, it appears very real. So to give you an idea of what I'm talking about here, because people ask what hypnosis is and people have different ideas about that. It's sleep or it's mind control, it's relaxation. The most important part about hypnosis is being able to use your imagination, be able to concentrate. So I'm going to show you what I mean by this, but I first want you to think about the thing you're scared of and imagine it for a moment. And on a scale of 1 to 10, just scale it in your mind from 1 to 10 and see how scared you are at the moment, because we're going to check this later on and hopefully you'll be free of that fear completely. So I want you to do that now. Close your eyes, think about the thing that scares you. Imagine that's happening. Okay, open your eyes and scale it in your mind from 1 to 10. Now I want to show you this sort of hypnotic phenomena, if you like. I would like you to do this. Follow my instructions clearly and you will have an experience. I want you to place your hands together like this. Clasp your hands together. Bend your elbows so you can see your hands. Pull your index fingers an inch apart. Look at the gap between those fingers and I want you to imagine they're magnets. As you look at the gap, you listen to my voice, you're going to feel them starting to pull together. In a moment they're going to touch, and when they touch, just close your eyes. That's right, as those fingers pull together, as they touch, close your eyes. That's right, close your eyes, and I want you to imagine now that those hands are sticking tighter and tighter together. Imagine that they're super glued, they're bolted together, they're stuck. Now imagine there's nothing you can do about that. And when you realise those hands are stuck, you can try and pull them apart and find they're stuck completely. That's right, they're stuck completely. Imagine there's nothing you can do about that. In a moment I'm going to count from 1 to 3. On 3 I'll click my fingers, your hands will come unstuck, your eyes will open, and you'll have a new understanding about the power of your imagination. 1, 2, 3. Hands coming unstuck, eyes opening. Right, now, as I said to you, all fears start with our imagination. We imagine it's dangerous, imagine it's scary, it then becomes automatic. We think about that thing, it makes us scared. At some point we forget we're imagining it, then it becomes real to us. So I want you to do this again. Place your hands together again, pull your fingers 1 inch apart, look at a gap and imagine those fingers are pulling together and imagine they're touching, and when they touch, close your eyes, do that again. Imagine once again your hands are stuck tight, they're glued, they're super glued together, they're bolted together, they're stuck. Try and pull them apart and find you cannot. And as those hands stick tighter and tighter, I'm going to remind you that I only asked you to imagine your hands were made of magnets. I only asked you to imagine they're stuck. And any time you want now, I want you to stop imagining your hands are stuck together and stop imagining your fingers are the magnets and see what happens. Just completely stop imagining that they're stuck and you'll find those hands come unstuck easily. Okay, now I want you to do this for me. I want you to think about that thing that was scaring you, that irrational fear that you had. And think about it now. Once again, imagine it's happening, imagine whatever it scares you is right there, and feel that fear and anxiety again. Now I want to remind you that I only ever started with your imagination. That only start with your imagination. Anytime you want to, you can stop imagining that. So I want you to do that now. I want you to think about that thing that scares you, recognise it was just your imagination in the first place, and then completely stop imagining it. Stop imagining it can possibly hurt you. Stop imagining that it's scary at all. And do it now. Okay, now I want you to do this. I want you to, now you've stopped that imagination, I want you to think about that fear and anxiety again that you had. I want you to try and feel it and find you cannot. And on a scale of 1 to 10 now, where's that fear gone? Try and feel it and find you cannot. That's right. No matter how hard you try, you will never experience that fear and anxiety again. And the harder you try and remember what it felt like, the further away it goes. Now you can enjoy that freedom from that irrational fear and that anxiety. And I want you to enjoy that time, enjoy the things you want to enjoy. And now you have that freedom and you've experienced that rapid change. I'd ask you to share this video with as many people that you think this might help. Friends, family, anyone that you know that's got an irrational fear of any kind, share this video with them. And I look forward to speaking with you again on these other videos that I'm going to be producing for you.